Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Cesternino, and I'm back here to tell you what I expect to see in episode number 6 of Survivor 43. I've been doing this all season long, trying to tell you what we think might happen on each episode of Survivor, just in case you forgot where we were since last week. And I think this might be the most interesting week to talk about that we've gotten so far, because the thing that's on everybody's mind is, are we getting the Survivor merge? I think the answer to that question is not exactly. I think that we are going to see a merge-like situation. Of course, the Survivor Twitter account is telling us, hey, we are closing in on the merge. Take a look at this tweet from Tuesday. We are only 1 day away from the merge. Pow! See as alliances shift. And who holds the power on a brand new Survivor tomorrow at 8/7 Central? We get some pictures. Certainly, we're going to see the survivors. They are intermingling people from the different tribes. Here's everybody eating a little piece of a lemon, a lime. Here is Jesse and Ryan cutting up some fruit. However, take a look at this last photo. The survivors are drawing rocks, and Jeff is giving them some chance to pick something. If we take a look at this still frame from the preview the other day, you see the survivors are all lined up. There's 2 mats. I think that we are going to have these tribes go into 2 separate groups, and I think that one of these groups is going to be safe in Wednesday night's episode, and the other will be vulnerable for the vote. This will be earning the merge, and then we will see how 12 players of these 13 will go on to make the merge. So I think officially, while we will have all of the survivors on one beach, I do not think that we will currently have the merge until the end of this episode. So what are we going to do? Now, it's impossible to predict which 6 or 7 survivors could be vulnerable for the vote. That we're going to have to leave up to our imagination. But we can talk about who has what and who might be working together going into the merge. Let's go back and take a look at our tribes one last time, coming into what might be a merge-like situation. If we take a look at the Vessi tribe, since they voted out NECA, they have really come together as a group. However, they are coming in with some advantages and disadvantages. Noelle, she has a vote steal. Also, Cody, he has the immunity bracelet from the Beware advantage. However, Jesse last week lost his vote. So there are 4 players here. They are pretty tight. They only have 3 votes and a couple of advantages. Meanwhile, over at Baca, probably the most interesting tribe to talk about. We saw last week, the busy week for Janine. She got an idol and also lost her vote. Gabler, he has an idol. That is going to be good for 1 more tribal council. There are 5 people here. They have 4 votes. However, this is also a very fractured group. Are Gabler and Sammy going to work together? Is Baca going to be a functional unit coming into the merge? I think that's a fair question to ask. Now, you have to remember a couple of weeks ago, Vessi and Baca, the red team and the yellow team, they were working together to try to knock off Coco. Since then, Coco has lost 2 in a row. Will that alliance that was formed when we saw where Vessi was helping out Baca, will those pairs and people from those 2 groups, will they stick together against Coco? Now, here comes Coco. They voted out Gio at the last episode. They blindsided Ryan. Is Ryan going to stick with Coco when we get to this potential situation where people are intermingling? That's a very good question. They have all of their votes from this group, but Carla has the immunity bracelet from the Beware advantage. So how is it all going to shake out? I kind of feel like that going off of what we have gotten so far, we've seen where that Vessi and Baca have worked together against Coco. Even though Coco's down in the numbers, I think that they'll probably continue to work against them. I guess anything can happen, but that's the best guess that I have so far. I went back and I also thought about what happened in these situations back in seasons 41 and 42. And of course, season 41 was really the wilder tribal council where we had the knowledge is power played. And then we had everything that was going on with Xander and his fake idol. Ultimately, Sydney got voted out. Last season, it was more about safety of who do we think doesn't have an idol. Lydia ended up being the collateral damage to go home in that scenario. Now, it's unclear if the Survivor 43 players had seen the Survivor 42 merge episode or almost earn the merge episode where Roxroy smashed the hourglass. We don't expect there to be any hourglass. Jeff has said no hourglass this season. So I think it'll be a group of survivors safe, a group of survivors vulnerable. If I had to guess what's going to happen, I think that maybe the survivors will stick with that idea of who is the person who is most likely or least likely to have an immunity idol. I'm going to guess that if Baca and Vessi are going to stick together, that maybe they'll say, okay, maybe it's Cassidy, who's the person who is part of Coco, who's the least likely to have an idol, seems like is attached to some power players in Carla and James. I think that the women in the game, I think, will probably have some pause before they want to vote out another woman from the game. But I mean, really, we're really trying to grasp at anything in terms of what we're going to get. So my official guess will be Cassidy. I feel like that Ryan is also on the table, but I think that since he was blindsided on the last vote, maybe he ends up with free agent status and that maybe he's a little less likely to go home. So would love to hear what you think. Should be a very interesting episode coming up on Wednesday. We'll talk about it all after on the Survivor Know-It-Alls, and of course, talk to whoever goes home in the Survivor Exit interview. Plus, we've got a really big treat this week. Sari Fields is going to join me for the recap on Thursday. First time in the history of Robinson Podcast that Sari is going to do a recap with me on the Thursday after an episode. So I'm super psyched about this week on Survivor. Hope it's a great episode. Enjoy Survivor on Wednesday night, everybody. Take care. Bye.